Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and gays.
From gutters to gay bars and everywhere in between.
Here to finish off your Tuesday, it's your three besties, two brunettes and a gay.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Tuesday with two brunettes and a Dave still, because we still have Aaron in Japan this week. So it's Celeste. Well, I'm not Celeste. I'm Deanna. It's Deanna. And Celeste is next to me. And we have the lovely David Heath joining us once again.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, shout out to Aaron if you're listening all the way in Japan.
He has been tuning into the show, which is lovely. You know, we can always appreciate the listening in. So how's everybody's week been this week? Have we been good? Have we been fantastic? Have we been amazing?
Well, I'm always fantastic. How about you, David? Life treating you well?
Life is treating me well. Thank you, Celeste, for caring enough to ask.
Of course.
That's very sweet of you. Of course, you know, the week, which includes the period going back to last Tuesday night.
Yes, Wednesday onwards, really.
Of course, includes the big announcers meeting we had here at the radio station on Wednesday night, which was fascinating.
You know, David, you're just gloating. David keeps gloating about this meeting because he got to do a special guest spot speaking about all of his wonderful radio experience at that meeting.
It's a heavy burden
to carry.
Being the golden-haired boy of the radio station.
Golden
really
child.
The golden child of the radio station.
The golden
heavy
child.
Burden. Yes.
Well spoken, though, I will say. Very well spoken.
Thank you.
I mean, there's some healthy competition going on here. David's been gloating about speaking at the meeting. His show's also getting replayed once a week. Ours is not, you know, so I mean, we've got big shoes to fill.
No, but you podcast
we do
and
podcast.
I don't.
This is
and we also
true.
get thousands of views on our reels, David, and I don't see you setting up a camera anywhere.
No, that's true. Basically, it's Alex Ward's got into the habit now. Of course, Alex joins me on the program on a Friday night live.
Yes,
he's now got into the habit of at about 4:50 on a Saturday afternoon. You know, getting the slippers on, getting comfortable on the couch, pouring himself a cognac, lighting up a hand-rolled cigar, and listening to our show over again, which is replayed at 5 o'clock on Saturdays.
Look at you go.
That is very, very exciting. No, big congratulations on all of the success that the show is having right now. And, of course, today we celebrate many days of the year. Days
of the week?
Days of the year. Well,
is it days of the year?
It's it's daysoftheyear.com. So it's days of the year. It tells us all the things. But you know what? Actually, we don't I'm going to recorrect myself. We don't celebrate that many days of the year today, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
we always
there's only
have
a
so
couple.
many.
So I might incorporate some. But it's also October is a few months. Awareness months or certain months happening that are a bit strange. So we might make some mention of those. But the one that does stand out today is that on the 24th of October, as it is, it's National Food Day.
Woo! Let's hear it for all the food.
I know. I feel like a lot of these days have to do with food. But this is all of the foods. So it's National Food Day for all of the foods.
This is for the foods that don't get their own day. They get a blanket day.
They do. Yeah, the ones that weren't special enough to make the cut.
Well, do you feel a bit bad for yourself if you're a food and you don't get your own day?
Totally.
It's kind of like us, though, not getting our own replay like you get. So I guess, you know, we know how it feels.
It's totally unfair. National Food Day is just a cover.
That's right.
It's a ruse.
It's also United Nations Day. I don't know what exactly it is for United Nations Day. It just is about the United Nations.
Happy United Nations Day.
Now, look, these next 2 days I cannot get on board with as a vegan. I cannot condone both of these, but I will make mention of them because I think it's freaking weird that we have days for them. It's National Bologna Day.
What? It's National Food Day. Why is there a specific food that gets its own mention on National Food Day?
Well, look, this kind of ham or whatever bologna is gets its own mention.
You've just offended majority of the listeners to this station who are Italian and definitely know what that is.
Yeah, look, I wasn't a fan. Even when I wasn't a vegan, I wasn't a fan of the cold meats, you know.
Right.
Or, like, just not a fan.
Agree.
What is it? Is that salted ham?
It is, what is it? off-pink meat that comes with a red ring of plastic around it at the grocery store. I reckon this might be an American meaning for it. I reckon we might have a different name for it in Australia.
Okay.
Fascinating.
It just looks
Tell me
gross,
more.
really. And it's also World Tripe Day.
Ugh.
Yuck. I don't know.
What's our month like, though?
What's our month looking like? Well, look, the ones that stand out is that it's Pitbull Awareness Month.
Be aware of the pit bulls.
Definitely be aware of pit bulls.
You know what? I'm going to pose an argument here, though. I do feel like it's environment. It's the way that they're raised. I feel like, you know, you got to raise them right.
There you go. But there is a lot of months happening right now, and I think that the last one that stands out for me that I thought, again, why do we need a month for this exactly? I don't know. It's Canadian Library Month.
That's so good. I've been to so many Canadian libraries, and they need to be made mention of.
Yeah.
But if you're in Canada and you're trying to convince kids in particular to read, the idea of Canadian Library Month is probably not such a bad idea.
Maybe.
Look at you looking at it from a logical perspective, David Heath. That's why they keep you around.
Sorry, I forgot where I was. Yes.
That's right.
5 o'clock Tuesdays on Radio Italia Uno. Don't worry about the logic.
Exactly.
No,
Leave that at the door.
It's not usual for our show, but that's why we've brought you into the mix here for the next, couple of weeks because...
How long before Aaron's on the phone do we think?
I know, probably soon. He's probably like,
Give it an
"Guys."
hour.
All right, and we've got a shout-out to make.
We do. So obviously we're celebrating lots of days today. Lots of months this month, but special shout-out to our dad who turned 60 on Sunday, the big 6-0. That's a milestone.
It is a milestone, so big happy 60th to Dad. And we got a little bit of a story time coming up from the weekend we spent away for Dad's birthday, don't we?
Yes, hanging out with the parents, bring some stories. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after this. Well, that song certainly got us into the party mood, and we were already in the party mood because, like we said before the break, on the weekend, it was our dad's 60th birthday, so we were in a celebratory mood. We had a lovely weekend away up at Mannum, or Pellering Flat, if I'm being very specific. I don't know how close it is to Mannum.
15 minutes?
Yeah,
not far.
Very close. And it was beautiful. We had fabulous weather on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not so much, but we made the most out of it. And we really celebrated, Dad's 60 years of life. But obviously, we were hanging out with our parents, right? Love them dearly, but we were hanging out with our parents and our parents' friends. And look, they're all fabulous people. Cannot say a bad word. Yeah. It was a great group. We had a few of our friends with us. So you had a mix of the young and the more mature. I don't want to say old. A mix of the young.
No, I'm old. You're allowed to say it to me.
A mix of the young and the old. Okay. And look, we had a great time. But my dad has this one friend. Love him dearly. We'll give him a shout out. His name's Frank. And we've heard this many times, and I guess we've seen it on occasion as well.
Seen it before, but not to this degree.
Not to this degree, right? After spending a weekend with him, or 3 days in full, he has this incredible ability to sleep on the spot.
Anywhere, anytime, any position.
Just fall asleep. He could be sitting in a chair. He could be sitting on the couch. He could be in the middle of a conversation. And he has this incredible ability to just nap.
Well, at one point, he was asleep on the grass. Outside. Just got off the chair, sat down on the grass, and then fell asleep.
It doesn't matter the level of conversation. It doesn't matter the noise.
No.
He would fall asleep with music playing, with loud conversations. There was a dozen of us up there, and we could all be talking and carrying on. Everyone's getting rowdy. Everyone's had a couple of drinks, playing music, and there he is, sitting around the fire, not half asleep, fully asleep.
No, because at one point we had 6 of us deciding to scream his name collectively at once to see if he would wake up, and it didn't work.
He doesn't have narcolepsy at all, does he?
That was our wonder, but no. Okay, and so his beautiful wife was telling us about this, and this is something that he's done for years. I believe he's very well known for it, right? Something he's done for years. He has episodes or stories where he's fallen asleep at his desk at work. I mean, he owns his own business.
Well, I've done that.
Well, there you go.
I've never done that.
I've never done that. I couldn't imagine. I mean, he owns his own business, granted, but he's fallen asleep at his desk. She said he's fallen asleep at a rock concert.
Yeah, don't get that one.
Amazing.
A rock concert.
And I would believe it because after what we saw on the weekend.
It was fantastic. And we proceeded to actually document this by taking pictures of all the different positions he fell asleep in. So watch out for when he turns 60.
Yeah, which is coming next year. So we've been collecting the material. But it led us to think, can you nap?
I can't nap because we were talking about this. Neither of us are nappers. Are you a napper, David?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, you are a napper.
And I can do it very easily.
How do you do it?
Right.
What's the secret?
Yeah.
But don't forget, I'm what could be described as significantly older than you two.
Okay.
So I think it's...
Do you think it's an age
as you
thing?
get older, yeah, I think it is, yeah. I've actually worked with someone with narcolepsy.
Right.
Really?
And I've seen it firsthand.
What, they
that
just fall asleep?
The individual can be in the middle of writing something on their screen or in a meeting or talking to you across the desk, and then they'll just go to sleep.
Right.
Do you wake them? Like, I mean, with narcolepsy, I guess we can't clarify if he does or does not have
because
narcolepsy, but I
can
believe
wait.
it's assumed he doesn't.
He can wait until a conversation's over. Like, he doesn't fall asleep mid-conversation. It's just like you'll be in a conversation and you'll finish your point and then he'll be like, I'll be back. And then he'll go and sleep. So it's controlled. He doesn't just...
Or if he's not involved in the conversation, there's just conversations going on around him, he'll just fall asleep in his chair.
If he's not directly involved in the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which makes us believe it's not narcolepsy because it doesn't happen during something.
And it doesn't happen instantaneously.
But with narcolepsy, do you wake the person? Like with that experience at work, do you go and tap them on the shoulder and say...
We didn't. That individual that I work with, I saw it happen a couple of times, and on neither occasion did we attempt to wake the person up, but then they would automatically wake themselves up a little way down the track anyway. It wasn't as if they were asleep for the rest of the day.
Okay, it's short term.
They would immediately nod off, and then a few minutes or half an hour or 20 minutes later, they'd be awake and back in the meeting or back at their desk.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't necessarily think it's an age thing. Like, I know that as we get older, it tends to be more like a lot of people will start napping who potentially didn't before. But your husband Jake is a great example. Like, he can nap anywhere.
Yeah, he's very good. Very good like that. Like, he can just go, I'm just going to go have a nap, and he will. And I'm envious. I can't nap. It's just not. It's not a skill. I mean, I have so many skills. I understand my body just can't cope with the level of skill that I sometimes carry, but napping is just not one of them.
But look, I looked this up.
You're learning
right?
from me to self-promote, aren't you?
Exactly.
I looked up Nanna naps and I thought, you know what, is this a good thing, right? Or is it something that's concerning? And this is the science behind Nanna naps at the moment. Apparently, there is a growing body of evidence that napping regularly is actually really good for us. So in a recent study, thousands of participants, it was found that those who nap regularly have a larger total brain volume. Maybe that's what you and I needed to get the quiz questions right next week.
So what you're saying is because we don't nap naturally, we're not as smart as everyone else?
Well, it's not that we're not as smart, but it's saying you can have a larger total brain volume from napping.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that your volume is filled.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't say anything about that. You're asking me questions outside of the article.
Okay, so napping is good for you.
Well, it's saying napping is good to you as long as it's short in duration, 20 to 40 minutes. Needing very long naps can be a sign of early stages of Alzheimer's disease.
Okay,
right?
so it's length dependent.
Yes. So it depends on the naps. Some naps, short naps, maybe once or twice a day, can increase the cognitive function, right, and your learning ability, but then too many naps can be a sign of degenerative disease.
Yeah.
So,
and I saw that with my dear old dad. God bless him. That
there you go.
towards the end of his life.
Yep.
And ultimately he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and that's exactly what he did. He'd come and visit me at my place, he'd sit down, and he'd pretty much fall asleep straight away.
There you go.
And Mum and I would have a conversation, and he'd be sleeping.
There you go. Well, we took it to our Instagram because obviously Deanna and I can't nap. We know many people that can. David, you're on the can nap, love a nap side. So we took it to our Instagram. We love a poll here at Two Brunettes. Okay, and we said, do you love a good Nanna nap? Answers were, yes, I nap anywhere, anytime. I wish I'd love to nap, but I don't do it often. Or, nope, I cannot sleep during the day. It's weird. And the total winner was nope, I cannot sleep during the day. It's weird, with 45% of the votes. So there you go.
There you go. Which is so true. Like, I am just somebody who, I think I've had maybe, like, I count the amount of naps I've had in my life on one hand. Mind you, it's so funny because after we talked about putting this in the show, I did actually fall asleep in the car because I was really tired.
The girl who never naps managed to get a nice little kip in on the way home. So I reckon that was
maybe nap number 5 in my entire lifetime. So there you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, we are going to be back with Tuesday Tea Time, so get ready for it. And there will be more Two Brunettes and a Gay right after this. Welcome back, everyone. It is, of course, one of our favourite segments here on Two Brunettes and a Dave This Week Radio. Tuesday Tea Time.
Lots of big news in the celebrity world this week. I don't know, is it big? Is it small? I don't really know. But first and foremost, we have to talk about our girl, Britney Spears.
Of course. She's a regular.
She's a regular feature on Tea Time. And we have to talk about her much anticipated release of her upcoming book, right? The Woman in Me, okay? It's titled The Woman in Me, and there is so much talk and speculation about what is going to be in this book. It's creating waves. So just last week it was released that apparently People Magazine, if I can speak, have reported that Spears will reveal in her book that she had fallen pregnant early in her career, but was pressured by her then boyfriend, Justin Timberlake, to have an abortion.
Oh, things like this are tricky, aren't they? I mean, firstly, it doesn't surprise me if that's the case, because, I mean, thinking about what she was going through at the time, you understand what could go through, but then also she's putting like a lot on Justin, which is, is that her saying that? Is it the actual truth? And then it's a great way to spark up publicity, but then sometimes you go, is that just what it's for, or is there truth behind it?
Well, I know that he hasn't made comment on this speculation, and I have to mention that what it does say is no one has seen the book yet. It's under a strict embargo until it's released. Okay? So again, it says some US outlets have been given an early glimpse into the memoir, but how much of it they've seen obviously remains to be seen. With this coming out, though, he hasn't said anything. Apparently, he hasn't posted on his social media for 3 weeks, which is a big thing. And I've heard that he's lawyering up because obviously whatever might come out in this, there might need to be some damage control done. But she has released a statement on her Instagram, and she said, "My book's purpose was not to offend anyone by any means. I don't like the headlines I'm reading. That's exactly why I quit the business 4 years ago."
There you go.
So if you're walking past a bookshop and there's Brit's book in the front window,
am I buying it?
Are you going in to buy it?
Oh, 100%.
Are you?
I would read Britney Spears' memoir.
Yeah. Well, we grew up with Britney. Like, she was smack bang in the years of our childhood where you were obsessed with music and with stars. And especially back in the day, it was different. We used to idolize stars differently than I think what happens today. Like, they were a big part of your life. We had Britney posters everywhere. We knew every song on every album. We didn't just have Spotify where you listened to the hits and that was it. You used to get the whole album. You used to play every song on the album.
Put it in your CD player in your car and just play it through.
I'm a big fan of Britney, and I think that, I guess if this is the truth in her book and this is what's behind it, then, she has a right to share it. I'm sure it was probably very traumatic for her. It would be interesting to hear JT's side of the story, though. I'm interested to see what he comes out with, because from there you can gauge whether or not it's true or if he's trying to cover something up.
Yeah.
Well, she followed that up by saying, "This is a book I didn't know needed to be written. Although some might be offended, it has given me closure on all things for a better future."
Do you need to tell everybody everything to have closure?
She's been through a lot. I mean, a 13-year censorship, you probably just have so much that you want to say and so much you want to come out with. I mean, how much of it has been ghost-written as well? We don't know.
True.
But I feel like if anyone deserves a voice on this capacity, it's Brit.
But I mean, 2 weeks ago we were, on the same token, I'm trying to play both sides here because it's just how my brain works. On the same token, she came out a few weeks ago with a video playing with knives. So Britney's no stranger to doing things for attention.
No. And it's such a missed opportunity. Britney Knives, Britney Spears. Oh,
I know.
Look, I love reading biographies.
One you won't be buying, is it?
I might wait until this one's in the $2 bin.
Oh, well, that's fine. We'll fill you in on tea time, so just make sure you tune into our show.
Indeed. I will.
Either which way, I still love Britney. But yeah, I'm interested to see what JT has to say because I was a big JT fan too.
I know, me too. I want to hear his side 100%. I want to hear his side. But she's not the only star that we're talking about.
Cher releases her first holiday album, Christmas. The album features 13 Christmas songs, including Cher's take on holiday classics like Santa Baby, Run, Run, Rudolph, and more, as 4 more original tunes are on there as well. And she said, I've never say this about my own records, but I'm really proud of this one. It's one of the most amazing highlights of my career. Big Cher fans in the studio here. Most of our stage show, if you don't know our background, we're in cabaret. We used to perform all of the time, especially in the Adelaide Fringe, was a big thing for us as well. And in our cabaret shows, Cher made, I'm pretty sure she was the only artist that maybe made an appearance for all of
every show. Yeah, she
for
definitely
the 8 years
featured.
that we did the show consecutively.
She's an icon.
With Aaron dressed as Cher.
100%.
Correct.
It was never Deanna and I. It was always Aaron.
Aaron was always dressed, particularly in the Cher outfit, in the leotard that she wore
With
on,
the gaffer tape.
On a cannon.
Correct.
On a
Yes.
cannon.
On a cannon.
On the cannon on a
We
warship.
did
yes.
fashion a cannon from a wheelie bin and a big piece of pipe, and we painted it black. So we
Nice.
actually had our own cannon, and
Yeah.
Aaron
Yeah.
used
We
to
went all
ride
out.
that.
Yeah.
And he had the Cher wig, and then he had some of the Cher wig stuff down his pants as well, just to, change it up.
To give that real element. But is the Cher Christmas album something that we didn't know we needed?
We didn't know we needed it, I'm going to listen to it.
Well,
I love me some Cher.
I have to add, and this might get you over the line. If you are on the line about Brit's book and you are on the line, Mr. Heath, about Cher's upcoming Christmas album, she is also featuring on one of the songs Stevie Wonder.
Nice.
One of the songs features Cyndi Lauper.
Yes, very good.
And one of the songs features Michael Bublé.
Now,
Mr. Christmas.
Mr. Christmas.
It's gonna be a ripper
I think
album.
it's going to be a ripper. Yeah, I'm excited.
Has she drawn those other people into her songs for this album because she fully is aware that in her 70s or 80s or whatever she is, her voice is not what it used to be, so she's bringing in these other people to, make up for it?
Power to her. I think if she knows she doesn't have the capacity and she wants to bring in other vocalists to fill in the gaps.
But I can also understand if you want to sell a Christmas song, you involve Michael Bublé and it sells 1 million copies
He's defrosting
straight away.
as we speak.
Yes, they keep him in deep freeze for the rest of the year and defrost him.
He's
at
ready to
Christmas.
go for November, for Christmas. And to finish off, we had the great Paul McCartney in Adelaide last week. Now, look, unfortunately, none of us actually got to go to the concert, but Rolling
because we were
Stones-
here listening to David Heath's speech at the meeting.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But Rolling Stones has
And it was
said
comparable.
Paul McCartney delivers the greatest rock and roll show on earth.
I mean, I'm a fan of Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Like, I like him. I mean, I can't comment on the show because
You
I
didn't
wasn't
go.
there. But I think if I had... Look, I got to be honest, I didn't know that he was coming.
I
Sometimes
didn't either.
I feel like I live under a rock. If I did know, I probably would have entertained the idea of going to see one of the living legends in concert, for sure. I mean, I think it would be just amazing to see Paul McCartney in concert. So I would assume that being as experienced that he is, it would be top-notch.
Well, only in a small, intimate crowd of 8,000 at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. And apparently it was all killers, no fillers.
Oh, see, I probably would have loved to see it.
I gather the show was about 2.5 hours.
I think so.
And from all reports, it was. But then he is the ultimate music legend on the planet, just about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Arguably one of the best
at
songwriters.
81, yeah, absolutely. At 81 years of age, you probably don't necessarily go and see him for his performance.
No.
But you go just to be under the same roof.
to the
legacy.
nostalgia of
Yeah,
it all.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
There.
Shout out to Paul McCartney if you're listening. Thank you for joining us in Adelaide last week and for listening to our fabulous show, Two Brunettes and a Dave.
So last last week I was leaving for work, and I live in an apartment, right? And the way that you can lock the door by, just clicking the button at the back of the door, and then it locks. And then obviously, because it's an apartment, you need the fob key to be able to use the elevator. And then attached to my apartment keys, I have my car key, all in once. And I recently, I used to just leave them sort of on my office desk, which is not far from where you come in the door. But I decided to put a nice little wooden pot there that I could put all my keys and bits and pieces in so that it was tidy, because it always bothered me to see keys out on the table and the door. And because I'm one of these people that, if I need to remember something, I have to leave something out in my way so that I trip over it. Otherwise, I won't remember it. I won't just remember to grab something if I need to take it with me. If I've got something I need to take down to the car, I don't just put it, on my desk or whatever so that I can remember it when I walk out. I literally put it at the door so that I physically have to trip over it. Otherwise, I can just walk straight past it. I won't notice. And so the keys are kind of a little bit like that. And so what happened was, of course, because they were in this lovely pot and everything was nice and neat and tidy, I picked up all of my stuff. I locked the door on the way out, got in the elevator, went down, and then realized when I got down that I didn't have my keys with me. Not my apartment keys, not the fob key, not the car keys, which means that I couldn't go back up to the apartment. I couldn't get to the car. I couldn't get the car open to get out. I could get out the front door, but once I was out, there was no getting back in, and I was on my way to work.
Effectively, so you locked yourself out.
So I locked myself out. I am fortunate enough that my parents live only a few minutes away, and my mum wasn't using her car for the day, so she bought it to me, and I used that for the day and took it to work. Mind you, then she forgot some keys in her car, and then she had to come all the way to work and pick up the keys that she left in the car. But that's a different story.
So it's genetic.
It's genetic. Well, this is the thing. I was going to say, this is the thing for me, is that clumsiness is a regular occurrence. I am so bloody clumsy. It has plagued me for most of my life.
Forgetful as well, because you're actually responsible on the weekend. Like you were saying, you can walk past something if it's not in front of you. On the weekend, like we mentioned, we were away for Dad's 60th at the river, and Mum had planned to do a pasta night. Right. Italians, pasta, it goes hand in hand. And so she had asked Deanna to bring along her giant saucepan to cook the pasta for the dozen guests. And upon starting to prepare dinner, when Mum said, "Deanna, where's the saucepan?" Guess who didn't bring it?
Oh.
I am known as being that person who is the calamity, right? And to the point where, I have butterfingers. I will drop anything. For some reason, I could literally just be holding something like my phone, and for no rhyme or reason, it'll just fall out of my hand. I just drop things. And every day, pretty much, bar maybe 2 days a week, I wear my food.
100% she does.
Always.
You drop
I
everything
wear my
on
food.
your clothes.
If it's not my food, if I'm doing the dishes, I'll wear all the water. I'll wear the toothpaste. You name it, I have to wash my clothes. Regularly. I can't get a second wear out of them because they're dirty.
She walks around Voice House with pasta sauce on her shirt, or
look, she has.
Yeah, I have. You know how many times
occasion,
I've said to a student, just ignore my lunch all over my top, and they laugh at me.
On occasion, she actually has marks on her clothes, not because she's come to work dirty, but she's gotten dirty at work, and then she just has to go like that for the rest of the day.
And mind you, you're also clumsy as well. We both have the butterfingers going on.
I told a story last week where I threw a glass jar of olives at a trolley, just because my hands wouldn't cooperate. So I totally get it. I can be clumsy as well. So perhaps it is genetic. Obviously, we're sisters. Maybe it runs in our family genes. But the food thing, that's a you thing.
That's a me thing. But I thought I'd look into it because I was right, I am getting worse. I feel like I'm getting worse. I'm not getting better. So I looked into what causes clumsiness. Is there something wrong with me?
Alcohol?
Yes. Well, I'm not a big drinker. That's the thing.
I don't think it's alcohol. No, because obviously I spend a lot of time with you. I don't think it's alcohol induced, but I think that you can be very nonchalant about things. And it's all right, Deanna, close your mouth when you're eating.
I don't.
Naturally, food will fall.
Well, no, it's not that. It's that I don't bring, I'm not close enough to the plate. And so there's too much of room for error between.
But But the opposite triggers me. I don't know about you, but you know people that like are over their plate like while they're eating? I'm like, all right, settle down.
I know, 'cause
the plate's not running away.
Well, this is the thing. I looked into it and it says what causes clumsiness on health.com. You may actually be born with 2 figurative left feet. Research shows that some people are naturally more uncoordinated than others, and it's a fine motor skills issue. Now, this is the thing. My fine motor skills, my hand-eye coordination is very poor. Like, I am the type of person who can't throw or catch a ball and do anything on target. You get me to try and do darts or something like that, and I have really poor hand-eye coordination. So maybe as a child, Mum and Dad, you didn't develop my fine motor skills, and I'm clumsy. Also, mental health conditions like attention deficit disorder, which I have, can affect coordination and make someone more clumsy. And it's because of the disease, but it's also because we check out too early and don't concentrate on what we're doing.
So what you're saying is you're medically clumsy.
I'm medically clumsy. So I'm here to, say on radio, because I looked into it, that I am clumsy, and I'm always getting in trouble for being clumsy because I'm always forgetting important things. And now I have a reason for it.
I don't know if I believe that there's a reason for it.
Well, health.com said that there is.
Look, I can be very clumsy myself. I 100% get that, but I'm going to put it down to me.
You?
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm responsible for my clumsiness, because sometimes I'm like, well, how did that happen? Like, how did I walk into that, or how did I drop that? Like, but am I just not paying attention?
No,
I think it's an attention thing.
But I'm actively trying to not be clumsy, like a lot of the time. I think that makes it worse.
Yeah, possibly.
But then you two have spent a lot of your lives prancing around on stage. So inside you there is timing and there's precision and there's coordination. If you need it, you can produce it.
Come to think
that's
of
rehearsed.
Well, that's true. Yes, it is.
Come to think of it, Deanna's clumsiness seems to be a little more like momentary. Like,
yes.
My clumsiness is I'm very clumsy on my feet. Like, I have fallen down on so many occasions.
You have.
I have fallen down the stairs coming off the stage in a Fringe show.
Yes, you have. Yeah.
So maybe we just have different levels of clumsiness.
Who knows? There you go. But look, clumsy, if you are and you're listening to this and you resonate with what I've said, maybe you too, like me, have an excuse if you're naturally clumsy.
So naturally, being that we're on Radio Weekly, a lot of what we have to do to prepare for a show like this is really look into what's been happening during the week. News stories, celebrity stories, hence tea time, our own stories, sometimes which are funny and sometimes which is just plain stupidity. But it leads us to look into a lot of offbeat news stories or kind of random news. And this week just seemed to be a week for some bloody fantastic offbeat news stories.
There's some good ones.
So we're going to touch on a few of these, and hopefully they give you a bit of a giggle. This is more of a feel-good. We want to start off with a feel-good story, okay? This is actually a South Australian one. So a Tibetan Spaniel dog has been returned to its owner after fleeing a barrier highway crash near Broken Hill 5 months later.
How does that even happen?
Incredible, right? 5 months after the dog went missing, it's found.
Well, it says Misha, the Tibetan Spaniel, went missing 60 kilometres from Broken Hill. And then grazer Mitch Harrison trapped the dog 5 months later and then travelled 7 hours down from South Australia this week to pick her up. So I guess, like, the story is that what, the dog was just found roaming around?
Well, I guess so, but the dog's only 14 months old.
Oh.
Yeah.
The dog is basically just out of a
baby.
puppy. Was it 14 months old when it went missing, or was it 14 months old when it was found?
I'm not sure. It doesn't specify, but it says, okay, so the dog was travelling, literally roaming around for that entire duration, and then it was found running around a 56,000 hectare property.
Yeah, okay. It was seen running around, so yeah, okay. Called out its name, turned around and looked at the person that found it, and they caught it in a fox trap.
Poor little thing. That would have been very sore. Is it missing a leg now?
I'm not sure. It possibly is. But Misha has since been picked up by its owners. Oh, that's beautiful.
So been reunited all this time later. But there you go.
So it's lived on its own
5 months.
just outside of Broken Hill in that Barrier Highway area.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's pretty bleak out there in terms of there's not much landscape. It's
How
flat.
has it survived?
It's dry. There wouldn't have been much food out there.
How
would
has
have
it
had
survived?
It would have had to learn how to keep itself alive,
Would you, okay,
or someone was feeding it.
possibly, but okay, here's a question. If you were lost off the highway for 5 months, do you think you'd be able to survive?
Well, I mean, if I was a dog,
If I was a
potentially.
dog,
No,
or
as a human.
as me.
As you.
Well, yeah, as a human, of course, because
Do
you
you
just
have the
find your way to
survival
a
skills?
Well,
you just find your way to a
I think
town
if
and
it
call
was
someone.
me and I got lost out on the Barrier Highway 60 kilometres outside of Broken Hill, I think people would realise that I was missing. And given my significance, particularly to this radio station, I think Dino and the board and Mark, they'd organise massive search parties.
Oh, you'd be on milk
and they'd come and
cartons.
find me.
You'd be
Right.
on milk cartons.
So apparently they were up in Broken Hill. Apparently they were up in Broken Hill for a dog competition when their car and trailer that was carrying 14 dogs rolled 3 times. Well, serves you right for putting her in a dog competition. I don't.
14? So was Misha the only one that survived? That story took a horrible turn.
I know. Well, there you go.
Very quickly.
As did the car that was driving them.
Apparently they
took
never
3
stopped
horrible turns.
searching for the lost dogs, but Misha just.
That was lost on Deanna.
What?
I said that story took a horrible turn. 3 horrible turns. The car that was driving it.
Okay.
All right, but we get better with this next one.
A woman returns from holiday to find her Atlanta home mistakenly demolished.
Could you imagine?
A neighbour phoned Susan Hodgkin while she was away and asked if someone had been hired to tear down her property because workers had just demolished the whole house. And so basically the story goes is that this lady, nobody lives in the house. The house was boarded up. But the neighbour went over because she's obviously friends with the owner of the house and said to them, "Do you have a permit to be here? Can I see it?" Because she would have known if the house was being demolished. And the workers snobbed her off and told her to get off the property. And then so she phoned the owner of the house who said, "No, I haven't had any orders to demolish that house." And then she went back out there to the workers and told them that, and then they admitted that they had the wrong address.
You'd be a bit miffed if you were the homeowner, wouldn't you? And you returned from holidays and your house was rubble.
Sometimes when you're on holiday, there's nothing better than being like, oh, you know what, I just can't wait to get home and have a shower. Oh, your shower's not there. You wanted a good night's sleep in your own bed? Sorry, can't do that.
Not even your shower not there. Your front door's not
No,
there.
the whole, no roof over your head that night.
But even imagine if she hadn't gotten the phone call. I mean, maybe obviously she wasn't living in the house, so it didn't affect her to that degree. But can you imagine actually just coming home to that?
Well, could you imagine, firstly, if it was the house that you lived in? And secondly, if you didn't know your neighbours? And so your house got demolished with all your belongings and everything in it. It was down, and then you just got home without any warning, and you realised there was no house. I'm sure that's happened to somebody somewhere.
Surely that's a suable offence.
Or do you hear from your neighbour that your house has been demolished, so you stay on holidays for an extra 12 months, come home to a brand new house?
Well, someone's got to pay for it.
That's right. Somebody's got to pay for that. Do they insure demolishers against, demolishing the wrong
There'd have
stuff?
to be insurance, yes.
Have to be.
Well, interestingly enough, the napper that we were talking about earlier in the show, Frank, he is actually in insurance, so we should just ask him.
Is that his name amongst his group of friends, Frank the Napper?
He's amongst us, I
It is
guess.
now, yes.
Last one. This is my favourite news story, I think, probably ever.
This has to
If
take
you haven't
the cake.
heard already, get ready for it.
Tasmania's big potato topples in high winds, but family of Premier vows icon to return after a makeover. That is right. The big potato in Tasmania has fallen down.
Yes, it's very sad.
David, you actually told us why it fell down, which Deanna and I did not know.
The story goes, now, first of all, the reference to the Premier is that this giant potato, the big potato, belongs to the family of the Premier of Tasmania. Because they're potato growers.
It's a family
That's
potato.
their background. So they erected...
As Deanna is in our family.
Indeed. They erected this giant potato years ago and it's become one of Australia's big things, like the big pineapple and the big lobster and the big sheep and all that sort of the big potato. I think it's got a name too, hasn't it?
The big potato.
No, doesn't it have a Christian name?
Kenny, the cannabis potato.
Kenny, the potato. It got hit by a truck, backed into it and damaged it, and then the wind blew it over.
What a sad day for that potato. You get hit by a truck, first of all, and then just the wind just comes and just takes you out completely.
Yes.
That is fantastic. Could you imagine, like, on your usual route, you drive past the potato and then all of a sudden, potato's fallen over.
I can clarify what you said, David. It says, after a tragic string of events, the supersized spud has fallen down.
But you'd have to think they'll re-erect it because, it's one of our big things in this country, and we love a big thing in Australia.
Exactly. We were just chatting about this. Australians apparently love
there
things.
are people who will go on holidays. They'll take their caravan or their tents and they'll travel the countryside to visit all of the big things.
Well, let's hope that the big potato gets resurrected so that we can make a trip down to Tasmania. Maybe we'll make a live...
Someone killed Kenny.
Somebody killed Kenny.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make a live show out of it. We'll return to the big spud one day.
Ciao. That's all.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. That was a great song. If you're listening on the podcast, ciao, ciao. Is that what the song's called?
The song is called Ciao, ciao.
There we go.
And
ciao,
it's
ciao.
a naked bottom on the front cover of the album too.
Oh, that's why we chose it.
And if I'm going to try and be really clever and have some good Italian to pronounce the name of the artist, it's La Rappresentante di Lista. Oh, that's hard. That's a hard word.
It's a long word. I don't know how many letters.
Rappresentante di Lista. There you go. So good luck Googling that one. If you
12 letters.
It is. It's a long word. There we go.
Which leads us beautifully into this next segment because our inability to pronounce a word just shows off how good we are with our brain skills.
This segment was really born by the fact that, if there's one thing, we may be a little dense when it comes to trivia, but if there's one thing we're aware of, it's the fact that we're dense to trivia.
Oh, I'll put my hand up at any stage and say, you know what, when it comes to a quiz, not my forte. Again, I have many skills. Quizzes aren't one of them.
Well, in fact...
I'm looking forward to being invited to a quiz night with you two one night just to actually test this theory.
Well, yes, because in fact in a quiz night we often don't have to try very hard to come last, which is not necessarily a bad thing because we usually get a consolation prize.
Always love a runner-up prize.
Yeah, that's right. So there's usually, I think in general, if we put a table of 10 together, each of us might get one question out of the whole quiz correct, and that's probably the whole 10 questions we get correct.
And we might just prove that point here tonight because we are coming back with 2 Brunettes trivia.
Now, last week, Celeste won, which I questioned because I think that there were some unfair calls in there. I think you had a little bit more time to answer some questions than you should have.
Look, we can put a time limit on it tonight if you'd like to. What do we get? 3 seconds, 5 seconds a question?
I think it's 5 seconds, and then it's ciao, next.
If you haven't answered, it's out.
That's right.
Yeah, and look, I'm all for confined fun, as you said last week.
Also, I do have trouble remembering that I got to say my name, not the question or the answer. So that's a little bit of a challenge. But I'm going to see if I can redeem myself this week.
Well, we're starting the scoreboard back at 0-0.
That's right.
So this is almost kind of like a best out of 3 situation because if I win tonight, I guess I just win in general, right?
No, we're going to have to keep going with this.
This could go on for years.
It could. But she's quicker than me. I'm the first to say that she's quicker than me, so my chances don't look so good.
I disagree with that because last week we were very on par.
You reckon?
Yeah, it had to come down to a tiebreaker question. It's not like I won by a mile.
Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe that might be helpful for my ego. Let's see.
Quizmaster David Heath.
Question 1 is in honour of the holidaying gay. If he's listening, hello, Aaron in Tokyo, and this question is dedicated to you, and it is an alcohol question. Mm-hmm. And it is...
I thought you were going to say it was a Japanese question. I was like,
No, it's an alcohol question. What type of alcohol... So question 1. What type of alcohol is traditionally used in a margarita?
Deanna. Tequila.
Deanna. Correct.
Deanna this coming from the person who said last segment, I don't really drink that often.
No, but if you had to list my favourite cocktail, what is it? It's a margarita.
I thought it
Deanna
was a
won.
Bellini.
Celeste
No,
nil.
that's second to the... I'm still a Margie person.
Question 2.
Yes.
What are the bones in your spine called?
Deanna.
Deanna? No, actually, let's just... That's Deanna over there. This is not great radio, but it's Deanna over there and you're Celeste.
Yep, I'll work on that.
But Deanna got her... Actually, Deanna said Deanna
She
first
got her
before
name, yes.
you said Deanna.
Yes.
So
I don't actually think I know.
she doesn't know.
Wait.
1,
Backbone?
2,
No.
3. Oh, well, you got it
Questions.
wrong.
You have an
Can
opportunity.
you please repeat the question, Mr. Heath?
What are the bones in your spine called?
Celeste, I think the question was already at me. Your vertebrae.
Correct.
Oh, I knew that
I
one
almost
too.
timed you out.
Oh, I knew that one now that you said it.
Deanna won, and the other Deanna won.
Deanna 2.0.
That was just one of those things where I was put on the spot. I knew the answer to that.
You can't just call out your name and then think of the answer.
I'm going to do that this week.
Which animal, this is question 3, which animal is the tallest in the world?
Deanna.
Deanna?
Giraffe.
Correct.
Yay!
Deanna
Wait.
2, Celeste 1.
I'm off my game this week.
Question number 4, let me get the music going again. I'm doing everything here. Question number 4, in what year did World War II end?
Celeste.
Celeste?
1940.
Yes, so far so good. Yes. No, the war was still going in 1942. It finished in 1945.
Oh, there you go. No, I wouldn't have got that right.
Here we go. What does a paleontologist...
Deanna.
Oh, my friends! Oh.
Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Well, the prehistoric times.
Look, the answer given here is fossils, but yes, I'll give you that.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Dinosaurs.
So I
fossils,
think it's now-
prehistoric
That was
times.
so lucky because we're both friends.
I know,
watchers.
and I'm watching, rewatching for the 11th time.
Which Friends character's a paleontologist?
Ross.
Is he? Right.
Yeah.
Wait.
What am I, 3?
You're
Yeah.
3 and Celeste is 1.
Yes.
What is the technical term for a lie detector?
Celeste.
Celeste?
A lie detector.
Look, no. Do you know Deanna at all?
Yeah, Deanna.
Yes.
It's something machine. I want to say... technical term. I want to say... the Smith machine, but that's something you use in the
No,
gym.
right.
No, wait, it has a name.
something
I've lost
machine.
it.
No.
When you say it, I'll know it.
Polygraph.
Polygraph. See, I knew that.
I knew that too.
So it's still 3-1. The next question is, what temperature in Celsius does water boil at?
Celeste.
Deanna.
I think Celeste got in first there.
100 degrees.
That's absolutely correct.
Yes, it is.
3-2.
All right,
What
Deanna.
number question are we up to?
I think, that was 5 or 6.
Okay, all right.
I think we have
Last question.
We've got one more, so it's either going to go to tie break or Deanna's going to take it.
All right, let's do it.
What gives plants their colour?
Deanna.
Deanna?
Photosynthesis. It's the sun.
No,
but
no. Yes and no. No, actually, I'm moving on. That's a silly question.
Okay,
Because the answer's given as chlorophyll.
I was going to say
But
chlorophyll.
I think photosynthesis
Sorry
is
if I
also
just
part
yelled
of the
at
deal.
everyone.
It is part of the
as well.
process, right?
Here we go.
All right.
Let's. How many lives are cats said to
Deanna.
have?
Celeste.
Yes,
9.
Deanna. That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, well-
So it's 4-2.
Right, so she wins, but I want to make, because we're going to bring this segment back, being that it's so well liked, but we need to implement a rule. On multiple occasions this evening, Deanna, you have answered your name before the question is finished being asked, and I feel like we should implement a rule where the question needs to be finished before you can answer.
I don't know. Look, David can be the judge.
I didn't catch a lot of what Celeste just said. But
She's saying
I'm
that I
gathering-
say my name if I don't know
so
the answer.
she's basically accusing you of cheating.
What I'm saying is, before the question is finished being asked, Deanna's saying Deanna, and I'm waiting for the question to be finished. I feel like I'm happy to. I'll take the loss. I'll take the L this
Sore
week.
Not
loser.
well, obviously.
Sore
But I feel like
loser.
some rules need to be implemented for the
I don't recall you mentioning
Justice
this after
of
you won last
segment.
week.
I think that this is like winner take, like all or nothing. Like you just got to go for it. Do you know, if you want to win, like you just got to jump in there.
Okay, so next week we'll just assume what questions
I think
David's
that
gonna ask.
two brunettes trivia, like we play dirty.
I'm down.
Well,
don't know.
it's one win apiece now.
Okay.
So
yes.
if you can, what you have to take into consideration, of course, is your imminent return of Aaron to the program. Is he going to be part of Brunettes Trivia?
Well, look, I mean, we'll
Or is
have
he going to be the
discuss.
quizmaster?
Absolutely not. No.
So he becomes the quizmaster.
well,
Maybe.
I'll
I mean,
lose
he
my
might have
job.
to. He might have to fight it out with you.
he might be quizmaster. He may have to play judge.
Yeah, you never know.
We don't know, but there will be, we promise there'll be roles for each of you.
Right.
There will be
Okay.
definitely.
I feel
But
better now.
Look, I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. I was playing dirty there, but I
She
needed to
was.
win.
She
I needed,
was.
I needed to redeem myself after last week's abysmal.
Well,
That's
But that-
fine. I'll take the loss. I'll take the loss.
Might take the loss, but it also gives you the moral high ground.
You know, I know who I am,
Yeah,
David.
because your sister had to cheat to beat you.
Oi, big call made there from the
I wouldn't say
quizmaster.
that's cheating. There was no rule said about that, but you know what? We can. If this is something that's going to be regular, we can put it out to the listeners and say, what rules would you guys like? What would make it entertaining? to
No
you?
holds barred.
That's
Punch on.
right. Let's go for it. All right, great show, everybody. If you've been listening live and you want to catch us on the podcast, then head to any of your major podcasting platforms and search for Two Brunettes and a Gay, and our latest episodes are uploaded for you every week after we've been live on air. But of course, if you want to catch us the next week live on air, then every Tuesday we are here on Radio Italia Uno in Adelaide, 87.6 FM, which you can tune into on your radio if you want to go old school, or if you want to go new school, you can download the Radio Italia Uno Adelaide app, and you can stream live from anywhere in the world. So we're international, really.
Anywhere, anytime.
And of course, if you like us, please head to our social media, Facebook and Instagram. Give us a like or a follow. If it really helps us out if you do that. And of course, if you think anything's funny, comment, send us a DM, share our stuff. We really appreciate the support for this channel that we've been getting. It's been incredible.
Now, before we go, we have to say a massive thank you to the one and only Mr. David Heath
We definitely do.
for joining us in Aaron's absence the last couple of weeks. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys for inviting me to be part of the show for the last couple of weeks. It's been massive fun. And this is a great show. This is a lot of fun, this show. You're doing a superb job. I'm honoured to be part of it as the panel operator under normal circumstances. But thank you very much for letting me join in the fun for the last couple of weeks.
Thank you so much, David. It has been a joy and a pleasure having you.
Certainly has, and we'll be back next week with a very special Halloween episode.
Yes.
Aaron will be back too, so stay tuned for that.
Now, have a fabulous week, and we will see you
Next
Tuesday.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and gays.
From gutters to gay bars and everywhere in between.
Here to finish off your Tuesday, it's your three besties, two brunettes and a gay.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.